Guys, this is Tarot with Kittens, Weights, and Tarot, and today I'm jumping in on a really awesome tag called the hashtag 3 ego states spread. This was created by Hermit's Cave, Simon over at Hermit's Cave, and he's really good at creating these spreads and doing a lot of introspective work. And it seems like as of late, a lot of us have been doing this introspective, hashtag work, and I don't know, I've been finding it really fascinating. I've been loving watching other people's interpretations of these spreads, learning more about people, and learning about more about how we're looking inside ourselves to kind of work through, our issues and problems. And I find it really empowering, and I think it's really fantastic. Simon from Hermit's Cave had given us kind of a visual of what these 3 ego states are, and he had mentioned that he had gotten this from an author named Eric Byrne, and one of his many books is called I'm Okay, You're Okay. And so he was saying that there's these different ego states where the ideal state would be I'm okay, you're okay. The other one being I'm okay, you're not okay. The other one, I'm not okay, but you're okay. And then the other 4th state being I'm okay and you're not okay, which he's saying, one, I mean, they're not like bad, but it's just something to work through to get to that ideal I'm okay, and then seeing others as them being okay as well. And this is called a transactional analysis theories. Simon used 2 decks, one to figure out the why he goes into certain ego states, and why that happens, and another deck to find out a possible solution to overcome that possible ego state. And he was talking about in Buddhism, or there's different types of Buddhism, but in his philosophy and his practice in Buddhism, that the objective is not to destroy the ego, but to not let the ego rule you. And I've talked about before that, I have also studied a type of Buddhism, Zazen Buddhism, as well as many other things. And that's something that I also believe in, is that, the ego is not something to be destroyed, because it's there for a purpose. It's there to help us, but sometimes it can take over and it can hinder us. Okay, so let me show you kind of what Simon had put together visually so you guys can figure out what I'm talking about here. So he said for these 3 ego states, and he kind of came up with this himself. Well, I mean, using this author down here, there is the parent state, which is the rule maker, overprotective, and also seen as the I'm okay, you're not okay, so therefore you want to go save that person, you want to help that person. So this is very much, he said, taught, but some of it he sees that as instinct as well. So then you go over to the adult, which is very much in the thought process, the thinking. If you want to put that into a suit, that's more like the swords. But this one is reality based, the problem solver, believes in equality, and also the fact finder. And then lastly, you have the feelings, so almost like the cup suit. So you have the child. The child is dependent, emotional, and acts irrationally. So this would be seen almost like the I'm not okay, but you're okay. So, seeing that you're not able to take care of yourself, so you become dependent on others because you don't have that stability within yourself. So I'm going to go ahead and use a couple of decks just like Simon did. Number 1, to find out why I go into this particular ego state of the parent. What is the possible solution to overcome that? Why do I go into the ego state of the adult? What triggers that, and another card to overcome it. And the same for the child. Why do I go into that child state, and a possible way to overcome it? So I'm going to be using 2 decks, and I figured I would use decks with skeletal figures, because you want to get to the bare bones of your ego, why you act out in certain ways in certain situations, going into these 3 different ego states. And again, ego, at least in my own opinion, is not a bad word, but you know, it's there to aid you, but we just don't want to let it run rampant. You know, just like anything else, you want a balance in things. So I'm going to use the Antique Anatomy Tarot. For the why, I go into a certain ego state, and then I will use the Santa Muerte Tarot because she's my homegirl to help me find a possible solution to overcome it. So I have my Antique Anatomy Tarot here, and I'm going to go ahead and pull a card for the parent. Why do I go into the parent ego state? Being overprotective, the rule maker, seeing myself as okay, but maybe others as not okay. Why do I go into that? Ooh, okay. We had a card flip over, as you can see. So let's take a look at this card. Let's see what it is. Okay, so we have the Six of Pentacles. Just making sure you guys can see that. Okay, so you got this skeleton dude. He seems pretty chill. He seems like he's got everything going on here. You have the, like, there's a little kid, there's the heart, there's the brain, you got a jaw, you know, spine. He seems to have all the components to, you know, have it all together, basically. So let's see, putting that into the parent here, the rule maker, overprotective. So why do I go into this, you know, I make the rules, being overprotective of others or situations. And I see this whenever, and it seems kind of, I guess, obvious, whenever things are really going right for me in my own life, and I feel like I'm in a place of, like, you know, optimal health, financial security. I tend to then look at others, like, you know, friends of mine and things like that as, well, then they must not be okay. I want to help them. I want to save them. I want to make sure that they're okay because I somehow have this feeling that they're not okay, you know, that, you know, I seem to be on this, like, everything's going great over here, so now it's my turn to go and save people. You know, all of a sudden I feel like, you know, if things are really going good for me, I can't just, like, sit with that. I need to go save somebody. I need to go save my friends. I need to go make sure that, you know, financially they're okay. I need to make sure that, you know, my friends' children's are, you know, okay. And so, yeah, so I guess whenever I'm in this state of everything appears to be going well, financially, you know, relationship-wise, health-wise for me, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, now I'm on this mission to, like, go save the world, you know? So then, okay. I'm gonna pull from Santa Muerte now. So what is a possible solution to overcome that? Because although some people might see that as noble, it could get annoying. You know, if you have this one friend who's always coming to save you, then it makes you feel like, what, like you think you're better than me? You know, that, you know, what if they're like, you know what, girl, I don't need saving. So, you know, that's not how I want my friends to feel. You know, it comes from a place of love and also, I guess, ego, where, like, hey, I need to come save you. And I may have the best of intentions, but I may be pushing my friends away by doing that, and it may not be welcomed or appreciated sometimes. So Santa Muerte, let's look at how we can maybe overcome that. What's a possible solution to that? Okay, and here we have the Emperor, and that's pretty cool because, all right, so if everything's going well for me, the Emperor isn't really concerned with saving the world. He's really concerned with, like, his home, his environment. If people come to him, like, heck yeah, he's gonna, you know, stick up for them and help them out. He's a very grounded energy, and so maybe next time I'm feeling in that place of, hey, everything seems to be going great with me. Let's look at who I can save. I need to maybe call in this emperor energy and be like, okay, let me ground myself and, and continue to take care of the things that are going on around me. Because there's always stuff to work on, at home, work, things like that. So continue to focus on that. And if a friend or somebody comes up to me asking for help, then yes, I will give my help. But I'm not going to maybe force help upon people. So there you go. So this is the parent state that I currently get tripped up in, and this is the possible solution. So here we have the Emperor. Okay, very good. Okay, so now we have the adult. So why do I go into this adult phase here, where I feel like I'm only looking for facts? I believe in, everybody should be equal, everything should be equal. That's something that, I actually truly believe. The problem solver, fixing problems, reality based. Okay. And again, this is all thought. This is up here. And I'm an air sign, so I'm always up here. So, okay. So why do I go into that? All up in my head. I need the facts. I need to solve the problems. Everything should be equal. Actually, I think I'm in that state quite a lot. With my Libra moon, like I'm always about like everything should be fair. Everything should be equal. Let's see. Oh, okay. Well, it flew out of my hand, so I guess it's meant to be. We have a major arcana card. We have the Magician. So you see this guy is playing with the elements up here. You got Mercury, or yeah. I mean, my sign is also ruled by Mercury, and then here you have all the other kind of elements down here as well. Okay, so why do I go into this adult state of being reality-based, problem solver, believing in equality, fact finder? Okay, starting to come to me now. So I'm getting a feeling of that sometimes I need to figure out like how magic works. Like I'm talking about like synchronicities and like life in general, my own magical practice, the magic of nature in the world, that when I get all up in here and I'm thinking about like, wow, life purpose and like why, what does that mean? I keep seeing these repeating numbers and this and that, where all of a sudden it's like I need to, everything that I'm seeing, I need to find facts for. Like, oh, okay, well, in order for this to be real, what I'm seeing and what I'm doing, I need to somehow back this up with facts in order for me to be okay with it, that science must have an answer. I need to somehow find some sort of fact, instead of just going off of faith, which trust and faith, that's something, wow, that's something that's been coming up for me a lot in my cards, is like, just have faith in the universe, just trust, and, trust in the magic. And here it seems like, when magic is happening, it's like I need to find the facts. I need to somehow ground this into, make it reality, as if it's not real. I see it as maybe it's not real. That's interesting. Wow. Wow, Simon. You and your spreads, man. They dig deep. Okay, so I'm gonna go to Santa Marta here. Be like, homegirl, I need some help. Because that's something that's coming up for me big time. I'm like right there in that like adult ego, of, why don't I just believe and trust in what I see, what I know, what I feel? Why do I need to find some sort of backup? you know, to what's going on. So, oops, too many cards are falling out. So Santa Marte, let's narrow it down to one card. What is a possible solution to that? Okay, hold on. What is a possible solution to that? Okay, okay, Santa Muerte. Here we have the Queen of Cups. So, whenever I get into this state where, you know, I absolutely see magic going on, I see, you know, my manifestations, everything that I'm trying to manifest is coming true. Anytime I see repeating numbers, anytime I see something that's just unexplainable, or I feel something, or I know something ahead of time, instead of trying to ground it in fact all the time and have other, you know, always going around, has this happened to you, has this happened to you, you know, just to somehow make what I've seen and felt or heard real, instead of looking outside myself, I need to look within myself, my own heart. This wonky, irregular beating heart of mine. Yeah, just look within my own heart. What is the first thing that comes? You know, because this is all up here. I'm all up in my head. So if I just look in my own heart, like the first thing that comes to my heart, you know, I see a repeating number. That's a sign. Instead of, oh, well, maybe, you know, that second guessing. No. So gotta check in with my heart, check in with what I'm feeling first. All right, Simon, I love this spread. The third ego state is the child. So this is dependent, over emotional, irrational, that I'm not okay, that you're okay, so I need to like hold on to you for some sort of stability. So why or when do I go into that state? Irrational, emotional, dependent, childlike state. Oh my, so personal. So I see this as, okay, I see this as mostly like in relationships, you know, I want to make sure that everything's like copacetic, everything's cool, everything's balanced. And so I tend to think of, you know, if something wrong is going to happen, it's because I caused it, you know, or, you know, I ran away from it. And that's kind of like an MO of me in the past. And so I tend to kind of like always be checking in and maybe sometimes second guessing things, and like, or maybe just let the other person like handle certain things for me because I feel like they do a better job and I couldn't possibly do it as good as them. But then I also see this as like, you know, with my friends too, that, you know, I because I get so emotionally involved in relationships of all kinds, you know, that I tend to back away sometimes, like from friends, because I feel like, well, you know, if I was too like in the friendship, like then maybe they would get tired of me, and I don't want to have to feel that stab to the heart of like, they got tired of me or they don't want to be my friend anymore. So yeah, that's something that comes up in relationships quite a bit. So very interesting. So then now we ask my homegirl, Santa Muerte, how can we overcome that feeling like you're not good enough, or somehow you're just gonna mess stuff up, so you tend to like back away? How can I overcome that? And thereby sometimes becoming really dependent. We're like, oh, well, it's like, I can't do it without this person, or I can't do this without this person. Like, I somehow can't possibly just do things on my own. Although a lot of times I come to the realization, I'm like, duh, I could just do it myself. But let's see, what's the solution to that though? And here we have the sun. Okay, so in relationships of all kinds, like I said, in romantic relationships and friendships, you know, when I'm feeling like dependent, like I'm not good enough, I somehow am gonna mess something up. I tend to overreact sometimes to minor things, or I tend to just like remove myself almost completely because I don't want to, you know, possibly get hurt in any way, you know, in a certain relationships. One way to overcome that possible solution is to find what's good about me. So just stop, you know, before I start thinking about like, oh, I don't know if I can do that or do this, or I'll just rely on this person. It's like, okay, every once in a while, just kind of check in with myself and be like, okay, let's write about all the good qualities of Tara, of me. So maybe, you know, since I like to every morning in my morning meditations say the things that I'm grateful for, maybe I need to also add in all the things that are great about me. You know, because that's something that would probably be really hard for me because I'm like, oh, well, like, you are so not great. Which, you know, if I'm going to be preachy about self-love to other people, I think that kind of ties in with self-love. You know, start figuring out what makes me great, you know, and the more I acknowledge that and hone in on that, the less I may feel like I'm not capable of doing certain things on my own. Like I need to like run to somebody else to like do it for me, or they have the knowledge that I don't possess. So very, very cool. All right, so there you go. That was the #3 ego states spread, and I thank you so much, Simon, over there at Hermit's Cave, for creating this spread. And I've been enjoying all these very introspective spreads. You know, maybe that's just that point in the year where it's time for us to start taking a look within ourselves. I've been enjoying seeing the breakthroughs people have been having with all these various spreads that are going around, these hashtags where people are working on themselves. I've been enjoying it for myself as well because there's a lot that's coming to the surface, and that's good. You know, it's a good thing. I want this stuff to come up because how am I supposed to go to the next stage of wherever I'm supposed to go unless I work on things, you know? So yeah, thank you so much, Simon. And I definitely encourage other people to jump in on this hashtag if you haven't already. And I thank my 2 decks for helping me out. And yeah, so if you have any comments or questions, leave that in the comments section down below. I have tons of links for us to like meet and chat on social media, you know, Instagram, Facebook, all that good jazz here on YouTube. And actually, if you head over to patreon.com/kittensweightsandtarot and join the KWT tribe, we're talking about how, like, what I, like, all the planning that needs to get done for a meetup this summer. So like kind of like a retreat / hashtag meetup slash meetup. But yeah, that's kind of in the works. We're planning it. It's going to happen. So if you want to be part of that process, I definitely encourage you to head over to Patreon. And also, I'm working on my Oracle deck, so if you would like to be a part of that wonderful process as well, I definitely welcome you. And to everybody else, since it's a community-based deck, please, please, please send me your photographs. Remember, they don't have to be super professional photographs. I want it to be as us as possible, from you guys from all different parts of the world, different parts of the US. So I want those pictures of your sacred spaces. Send them over to tara@kittensweightsandtarot.com. And remember, you can remain anonymous. You don't have to have your name and everything in the guidebook if you don't want to. You just have to let me know that you want to remain anonymous and let me know why it's your sacred space. But I do need all those entries before, I believe it was, I put down June 6th. So yeah, that's it from me, spiritual homies. If you want to catch a reading with me, head over to www.kittenswaitsandtarot.com. There's also a link to my Etsy shop, etsy.com/shop/kittenswaitstarot. And I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. All right, peace, love, and chicken grease. Peace out.